Hey everybody, what's happening? What's happening? We're gonna play Streets of Rage right now. This is a cool little Sega game, came out in the early 90s. I think it came out around the time Street Fighter was becoming a real thing. Well, it says 1991. That's close to around the same time. Fighting games in general were just getting pretty popular. Final Fight was a big thing, and this was kind of Sega's version of Final Fight. Since the Super Nintendo had Final Fight, Sega had to hook something up. So let's see here. Let's get started on this one. And we're going to press start and start. Alright, one player. And in this first game, you could pick from 3 different dudes. You got Adam, Axel, and Blaze. From what I remember, Axel's my favorite, but Blaze is pretty cool too. This guy, he's more of a, he's like a tough brawler. I want a more of a karate type guy. I'm going to pick Axel. I remember the music to this game was really cool. The Sega Genesis wasn't known for having the best sound, but some games really eked what they could out of the system, and this is definitely one of those games. The music's always, really pumping, and the sound effects are cool. But yeah, man, the fighting in this game is, it's pretty good. It's got a variety of different characters, got colorful backgrounds. That's another thing with Sega; it couldn't really display as many colors as the Super Nintendo either. So when a game like this came along that somehow found a way to be a lot more colorful, it really, popped out. I remember I got this game when it was new and I played it a lot. We'll move on to the sequel after this. That's Streets of Rage 2 was the special one for me. That game's just awesome. Let's see if there's like a special move. Let's see. So far, all I'm able to do right now, let's see, push some buttons. What happened there? Oh yeah, that's your special move. I remember now. Yeah, you push a button and one of your cop friends just completely comes along and napalms the street. Where some enemies would have been there when I used that. Maybe I've got enough. No, I can see the S up there. It says 0, so I guess I used it. Next time I get one, I'll try to make sure to use that for good. Oh man. But anyway, yeah, this is Streets of Rage. It's a pretty cool game. Let me pick up this bottle here. Yeah. I'm playing this on the Xbox Sega Genesis collection. I don't know if I actually own a copy of this. I do have a Sega Genesis that I'm planning on pulling out for these video series, but any games where I already have them on other systems that I don't have to go hook up my Sega Genesis, I'm just gonna get through those first. And but yeah, there's a lot of fun to come. I really plan on taking this series and playing through my entire video game collection, of which there are many, and I'll be getting new games in the interim. So I mean, we're gonna have a good time with this. I've already had a pretty good time. I'm flying solo on this one. Had Evan in here for all the Super Mario Brother ones, and there are still some Super Mario Brothers games that I have that I didn't put on, but we'll get back to those. I was just a little Mario'd out, so now I'm feeling like, just beating people up with a pipe and shit. Alright. That was one thing about back in the day, and the pallets. Well, it's not even pallet swaps. Like, I just beat up twins. That's the same guy over and over again. And I guess, when you're a kid and you're playing games, use your imagination. Oh, not even when you're a kid. I do it now. But, I would just be like, well, to be in this gang, that's what all these guys had to look like. That was their job, is to look like that. That's their uniform. So, when they came in and joined the gang, they looked normal and different. But, they were like, well, you better get your orange hair and your your jean vest. And all these chicks too, they're just like, well, get your red dominatrix outfit. I remember when like sexy things in video games was a big deal. This was before Mortal Kombat kind of came along and changed video games forever. Kind of changed and we're going to talk about the Mortal Kombat series as well. But this is kind of what fighting was before Mortal Kombat came out. This game didn't have any blood. It's just karate, man. That's all you're doing here. You're just beating the crap out of dudes and walking to the right. And That's what these games consisted of. And then you get these clear bonus screens where you see, you know, how many points you racked up. It's always a fun time. Alright, I think I got a free life. Ooh, I got a special again, so we're gonna see what happens when I nuke everybody with the napalm. You know, these days this game comes, you know, I'm sure if you had to buy this game separately, I think you can on like Xbox Live or something like that, but I'm sure it's like $5. But you know, when this came out in 1991, this was $50. And I would play this game over and over and over. Ooh, that didn't look nice. I would play this game so much. And you just kind of had to, because I mean, like, you know, if your parents spent $50 on a game, it's not like you're getting them all the time. Like, you know, when you're an adult, you can decide to spend your bill money on video games, and you can pretty much play whatever you want. But when you're a kid, my parents would take me to Toys R Us or something, and you know, there'd be a wall full of games, and they'd be like, pick one. And you know, like, there weren't websites or anything to go, you know, look at reviews. There were a few magazines, but you know, you never really knew what to get, and so you'd have to look at the back of the box. And like with this game, you just kind of knew it was made by Sega. You could see that, and so, you know, you're like, okay, well, it's made by Sega, it's got to be pretty good, instead of one of those third-party developers. But you know, you'd pick it up and take it home, and that's your $50. You got what you got. And some games, which we will go through on this series, I couldn't believe that that's what I spent my $50 on. There's been many disappointing games in my life where, you know, you see the cover and you're just like, oh, that's gonna be a great game. Then you take it home and it is just dog shit. But you know, luckily, you know, rental stores came along, and you know, people started renting Nintendo games and stuff pretty early. You know, video stores were plentiful in my town, so you know, I was able to rent a lot of games. I learned long ago, because you know, when I first started out, I do remember getting the Jaws game and the Friday the 13th game, both on Nintendo, and we'll play those. And both times, you know, like, I made myself love those games, and so now, you know, I play them. I love those games, I still do, but I knew when I played them for the first time, I was like, oh man, I just paid $50 for this. You know, this is what I spent my money on, or my parents' money on, you know, and it's going to be a while before I'm able to do that again, and so, you know, you just have to play them. But this here was one of those games where, you know, it felt worth the $50. Even though, man, seriously, after you beat this game, after you go through the however many 6 or 7 levels it has, and you beat the boss, and like, I didn't even change the options, and I haven't even died yet. This is definitely not a hard game. But after you beat it, you know, you just kind of, I would always start playing it over and over again, and just kind of talking along in my mind, much as what I'm doing here, which maybe is why I do this stuff. I just start making stories up, being like, I need to talk to so-and-so. Well, you can't get to him. Oh, yeah? And I just start, you know, beating dudes up, and they're like, oh, he's coming after you. He beat us up, you know, and I would do all kinds of stuff like that. So you kind of have to make games more fun. Games back then didn't have, you know, dialogue, which is something we take advantage of these days. There's all kinds of dialogue. You can't get games to shut up now. But back here in 1991, you push start, and this is what you get. You're not talking, you're moving side to side. Alright, I'm going to use my special move. I also remember when I got the Sega CD, this game was on a disc that came with the Sega CD, so I played it all over again. And I'm not sure, but I think it had CD remastered music. You know, instead of the Sega Genesis music that we have here. How can I throw it? There we go. Yeah, take that, dick. I don't necessarily like his knee jump. It's not as good as like a jump kick would be. I'm pretty sure you can do both in part 2. Streets of Rage 2 had way bigger characters. I remember really liking that. I remember because you go to the arcades and the sprites would be huge, and you'd want to get that at home, and then you play at home, and things have to be smaller. Like even in like the Street Fighter 2 Super Nintendo version, the characters they're smaller than the arcade. And I remember just when a game would come out and the sprites were big on the screen at home, that was a big deal to me. I feel very fortunate that I lived in the time I did, video game wise, because I kind of got to see it all happen. Kids these days, they see a game like this and this is just old news to them. But like I didn't have that, because basically when I started becoming conscious that there were video games was right when video games were starting. Atari and Pong and stuff like that. And so I've gotten to see it go from that to this, to Grand Theft Auto, and how long that's taken. It's been a good 20-25 years, maybe 30, something like that. I'm bad with numbers, but anyway, like this right here, I'll always be able to see it for what it is instead of being like, ew, that game's ugly. But it wasn't ugly when it came out. It was a cool-looking game, and Sega was, they were giant competitors to Nintendo. I think Nintendo won the 16-bit wars ultimately, but Sega, man, they put up a really good fight, and for the longest time, they kind of came under and became like the cool guys. And when I say that Mortal Kombat changed, history, it was because Mortal Kombat kind of put Sega in the lead, because Mortal Kombat on Super Nintendo, when they released the first Mortal Kombat on Super Nintendo, it didn't have blood, but on Sega it did have blood. So everybody was like, Sega rules, Super Nintendo are a bunch of dorks, because nobody wanted to feel like that your video game company was parenting you, when you can, I can blow up guys in jets and look, I'm stabbing people and stuff like that. And in Final Fight, you're beating the shit out of people. So you can't just say, well, this is a Sega game, No, in Final Fight, which is a Super Nintendo game, you beat the crap out of people. And there was blood in Street Fighter 2 on Super Nintendo. Anyway, but you didn't kill. But if you're playing a game where you're in a fighter jet and you're blowing up other people's fighter jets, you're killing multiple people. So, anyway, Super Nintendo lost the lead at that point. And Sega was the cool system. Sega was the one that your parents would be like, oh my god, I can't believe you're playing that. So that started a whole thing in video games. After Mortal Kombat hit big, violence became like a thing in video games. As we're going through all of my video games, there's so many that can be brought up. But look, this game has no blood. Oh, that was a cool move. Oh, it just never looks good. There's some very racy poses here. Look at this. Oh yeah. Oh, that's funny. When the guy had me, it looked even worse. But anyway, yeah, that's Streets of Rage. Yeah, hopefully, see if I get killed. Maybe I can continue and play as Blaze. Nice park, ocean background. Look at this rain. See, that was a big deal back in the day, like layers. Put in my name. I'm AAA. Continue. Do I continue? I can't even. Where can I move it? So if you continue with the same dude. So let's reset game. And pick Blaze. Alright. Now, from what I remember, Blaze was like the best fighter in the game. She was really cool. Very, she's small. Oh, yeah, yeah. I love you. Oh, yeah, she's got a... Now, that's a jump kick. Oh, that's kind of a weird sound she makes. Hey! Can't even do it. Sega sound effects, man. Wait until we play Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition for the Sega Genesis. The announcer sounds like he has gravel in his throat. Everybody does. It's like it's funny. So pretty much this is Streets of Rage. You beat the crap out of the same guy while listening to cool music, and just go right, and that's what you do. And it's really the whole game. The bosses are kind of cool. I remember there being a few with guns that were kind of hard to beat. I remember the last level being in a skyscraper or something. Once again, I like this video series because in 20 minutes we're just going to kind of go through every game and get the basics of what's going on. But many of these are games that I could just play for hours, you know. I don't know if I could play this one for hours. This one's, it'd probably be cool with a friend, but growing up I lived way out away from the city, so I was playing by myself most of the time. So like I said, with games like this I'd have to get really imaginative on because there's really not much narrative happening here. And there's really not much chance of you losing, you know? I mean, you got continues, and yeah, you're gonna get hit, and you know, I'm not even playing as good as I would be if I was really trying to beat it. But I could see, you know, this would get old pretty fast in this day and age. Cool game though. Let's see if I can think of anything else to say about it. Honestly, I'm running out of juice. I have to end this one early. Does she have a different special move? Let's figure that out. Okay, let's get some bad guys. And nope, same old guy. Dude, he is always at the ready. All I gotta do is push this button and this guy is sitting in his car. He's like, well, and see, how did that not hurt me? That's pretty funny. Yeah, her karate kick is way better than Axel's with his short knee. And no, she got the moves. I can't wait to play part 2. That's a much better game than this one from what I remember. I think I played it the other day actually. I was a band I've been listening to, D Antwoord, used the music from one of the levels on Streets of Rage 2 to put to one of their songs. It's on their album Donker Mag. Check it out. Oh, is this a boss? Music changed. This boomerang dude. Yeah. Now notice you can't really kick the fire hydrants and stuff, which is a thing like the Ninja Turtles game did. So that's a little disappointing. But yeah, she's cool, man. She's a fighter. Take that. Well, guys, there's really, I don't even think I'm gonna go 20 minutes on this one. This is Streets of Rage 2. Or no, this is Streets of Rage. We're gonna go on to Streets of Rage 2 because it is a much better game. And so we'll see you when we play that one. Bye bye.